What's good, people? It's your boy Adrenn. Yeah, so next topic, I've been doing quite a big study on this week, just looking into stress and depression and just seeing if we can get to the bottom of some major causes which are leading us into this area. What got me looking into this is just looking at the health issues of what's actually killing most people in the world. And I realise, even though the world populations are slowing down to the point it's on the border of depopulating, most of the things that are killing us is actually self-inflicted, and most of the things which are causing us to inflict ourselves is stress. So I thought this will be a good topic to hit, to also, because when you look at the top 5 things that kill us globally, again, it's stress that drives us, because in the first 4 you see smoking show up. Not even 4, first top 5 out of 4, smoking shows up. Why do a lot of people smoke? Relieve stress. High fat diets, high cholesterol, people are comfort eating as well, causing obesity. People, instead of going exercising, they're de-stressing in front of a TV, so that's adding to the problem. Stress, naturally high blood pressure is a cause of it. Pretty much this is an issue I think that needs to be addressed on a real life perspective, as well as using the word the way it should be used. But J-Walker, what would you have to say in this angle?
This is the reason again why, I think most of the differences between us, I think, are based on the economic systems in which we maneuver. And again, going back to the working class issue and the fact that those financial freedoms aren't there, the food that we eat, I think it's going to have an impact on our lives and our lifestyle and whatnot. The lifestyles that we live, these things will kind of impact on stress in the same way. And then once you start breaking it down, you look at, okay, so which groups of people are operating at the highest stress factors, then again, you can kind of link it in a way to knife crime in our community, because someone who's at peace with himself and isn't feeling any stress, it's very difficult for that guy to get up out of his bed, go stab somebody, and then just go back to relaxing again. Somebody who's attacking people, who's constantly operating from a perspective of violence and such, has adrenaline pumping all the time and testosterone being produced to a high level, that is a stressed person. I see like different groups of people go to gym to maintain a nice figure, to get a little bit of a sweat on and whatnot, to do a little bit of cardio, to loosen their pores. Other people, because they know they're going to need to go and survive some stuff later on. I remember being in the gym one time at college, by the way. I was working out for a bit, and then this guy was like, "Hey, yo, do you know them cherry roots?" I was like, no, what's up? So yeah, I'm gonna go deal with them now, blood. What? You think I'm going to gym for no reason? Watch later on. I'm like, Lord, like, know what I mean? Like, and in between that, we're like playing some like gospel on the thing. But I guess I was missing the guy and everything else, because like it's just a different stress level. When your finances are all messed up, your family's all messed up, you can't go home and have stress relieved from you. You may oftentimes be having stress added to you. One of your parents is beating the other one and whatnot. And I'm not saying these as excuses. I'm just painting a picture of the wired human being that then walks out that door that day, and what that person might be more prone to do just because of all of those elements going on within their life. That's how I feel.
Yeah, no, definite, man. One scripture that always brings me to mind as well, because I read this, I think, early this year or last year, and it never made sense to me until now. It's Isaiah 14:12. It says, "How are you fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How are you cut down to the ground, which didst weakest the nations?" Because I notice we actually are being weakened in all angles, mentally, physically, and spiritually. And we are not getting to the source of it. And looking at the stats, depression is just rising. The tablets being given out for depression is rising, but depression is still rising, so the tablets are not fixing it. Someone's making a lot of money off it. And it made me think, because if people keep trying to soothe themselves, and never get to the solution. And Jude 1:19 made me think with that as well, about people separating themselves and being sensual and not having the spirit, as in when you're in that mind frame, you very much feel alone, and you try all these things to make you feel better, but no matter what you do, you can only feel better for a time period or a couple months or a season, but then you're back where you started and you just can't figure out how to get out of it. And I see this pattern play out too many times.
It's temporary fixes, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
So the question becomes in that, say a dog walks in, poops in your front room, how long can you just spray Febreze over it and hope that nobody will notice and put on a brave face and act like everything's alright? You can't just keep spraying Febreze over it, hoping that nobody will notice. So one of the things that they say about depression, which links back to the topic of stress and everything else, is also isn't that distant from suicide either. But at a point in your life when your expectation of your life and your reality become too distant apart in comparison, equals depression. So when you're picturing your image, which is often why, I think in our community a lot of people wouldn't necessarily admit to depression, maybe even perhaps because we just kind of have that nature where we have to just get up and battle, and that's just the way it is. Because, granddad was poor, your parents were poor, you're poor. It just you learn to structure the way it is. Whereas I think white males, right, have the highest level of suicide, whatnot, and also heavily diagnosed with depression, which kind of is a kind of inherited trickle down effect of the world that we've been taught to live in. If you're a white male, you're supposed to be flourishing. That's what you're taught.
All right.
You've been taught you're supposed to be doing good, you're supposed to be amazing, and in some cases you've even been taught that you're a superior race and everything else compared to everybody else, and these other people are below you. So when you find yourself working the same job as the people are below you every day and whatnot, and then you're seeing a guy and he's got a girl that you feel like looks better than your girl, and you haven't got any money, more money than the people are supposed to be stupid, you're like, well, there must be something wrong with me. I must not be good enough and whatnot.
I think it all boils down to the mind, innit? It's the way how you think, innit? It's like if your society's controlled your mind to think that you have to be a certain way, and then you're not living to that expectation, it obviously leads you into that, makes you feel depressed, and then obviously it leads to other things, and then just leads onto other things, and then it leads down to suicide, whatever. It's just a mind thing. I think if you learn how to control your mind and love yourself, I think you wouldn't get to that stage of depression or mental health, or even wanting to commit suicide. I think you just have to just kind of control your mind and don't let society control the way how you should be as a human being, sort of thing.
I got two precepts I'll even back that up. What both of you were saying, it says Proverbs 4:23, keep thy heart, which is your mind in this instance, if you check the Hebrew, with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. So you keep your mind in the right place, your life will, even though it might not be perfect, but you will not be having the depression or the suicidal thoughts, because your mind's in the right place, that you're actually being grateful for what you have. That's why that scripture, I think, flies over people's heads. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. But you see that want, you can replace that word with expectations, because it's like I want attitude, and never being grateful for what you actually have.
And a lot of it, people maybe feel, because it's a big topic, people can be depressed about so many things. They could be a simple thing of them just failing at something they're trying to achieve for long periods of time, and they're not getting anywhere, and then because they're failing, it's like it just makes them feel, in their mind they're thinking, I'm not good enough to do this and that. Then another part of it could be what people might do to them. So it's they could be they want to probably do certain thing, and then a group of people might try and block them or try and stop them from trying to get to that, and then it just makes them, from what people do to them, they may feel depressed about that. What people might say about their appearance make them feel depressed. And it's it leads to it's also from what people do to you, and the way how you think as well. So people can be depressed about so many things, man. It's just, I think but obviously it all just boils down to the mind. So if like someone thinks that you don't look good enough, or you're not good enough, in your mind you just gotta you kind of have to just block it out and say, look, you have to kind of like uplift yourself rather than trying to make people uplift you, if you know what I mean. But obviously if you have a good people around you that can uplift you, it's obviously good as well. But I think you have to like be a strong person yourself and uplift yourself to make you fit.
So I think definitely we can help each other with it. Love your neighbour as you love yourself. If you see see someone down, help pick him up, and if I'm down, you help pick me up as well. And this is, I think, I've got a ranker.com top 10 life goals list when you just type in top 10 life goals in Google, and I think that's one of the biggest things missing, because we got first enjoying life, but how you enjoy life and how I enjoy life might conflict each other. Being healthy, okay, makes sense. Being happy, but what you choose to be happy. Intellectual growth, pursuing ideas and passions, financial freedom. That's just 6 out of the 10 I've mentioned. But really and truly, if you put loving the Most High, loving your neighbor as yourself above all of them, is you can be happy, but my happy doesn't need to be at expense of someone else's happy. My enjoyment of life doesn't need to ruin it for someone else's. And the thing is, we've sort of got to a point of enjoying life but not caring about who we're trampling in the process, who we could be negatively affecting and who we could be upsetting, or starting off a spiral to knock someone down in the process.
Back to a point I want to touch on. You was obviously saying, you brought up like points earlier about like the food sort of making depressed, obviously out. Like for me, obviously I'm trying to obviously figure out how food can make someone depressed. You know, obviously the smoking. Obviously people smoke to be depressed, but I'm just trying to think. Like obviously elaborate on how the food can.
I hit that. I know Jay, you had a quick point as well. I think you brewing up.
Just and I'm conscious of people kind of listening and thinking like, what does depression and stress have to do with knife crime? But I think for a second, how depressed do you have to be? How little do you have to value your life to be willing to die over repping your postcode? How little do you have to value yourself in order to be willing to die? Your life's not worth more than repping your postcode. No one's going to remember you for any real period of time. You might get your face on a t-shirt, you know, that little stretched out picture that they get on a t-shirt with a washed out RIP. And that's it.
That's
how stressed do you have to be to stab somebody because they stepped on your trainers? Like, at what stress level would you have to be operating at for that to occur?
I think some of it could be just the influence they see in it. So if they see, I think it's probably then obviously it is a stress, but then obviously I think it's the environment they're in it. Like if that's what they're seeing on a regular basis, that's what they're gonna obviously kind of go down that route, if you know what I mean. But if they're around a good environment where they're seeing just good and positive, they're not gonna, if they're stressed, they're not gonna do that. They'll probably take another route of like trying to make themselves de-stress in it, probably like smoking or whatever. But obviously if they're around a knife, they're seeing like someone getting stabbed for a silly reason, they're obviously gonna do that. They're obviously gonna go down that route, you know what I mean?
I think there's definitely an issue of like a low self-esteem, a low valuation, and all the rest that goes with it, you know. Because at the end of the day, we're giving our lives, and I know we all grew up coming through that, you know. And like for me and us, it was like SE8. It was over on my side. Funny thing is, meeting you, like you're from Peckham, innit? So I didn't put your title wouldn't really be what was supposed to happen. And I remember like different schools, like Peckham schools. I think it like there was like Warwick Park and that up in Peckham and whatnot. Like I was going to school, not Evolution, but like Sacred Heart and that. And I remember people from each school that was running up into each school. Michael Ramsey too. People 8 a.m. in the morning was run up, grab a couple of guys, and run back out and that kind of thing. I remember even teachers getting me, but just under that premise of repping something, being part of something of value, because there's no other, perceived in the mind, there's no other way to be part of something of value.
Yeah, so like the root is obviously like the mind and the peer pressure and the environment they're in. It just kind of leads to it just explodes to all those big issues in it. So I think yeah, the root of it, I think it just starts from the mind. Then obviously the next root of it is obviously the environment, the peer pressure from their friends or whoever they're around, which will just lead on to whatever sort of thing.
Yeah, we sing about food, bro.
Yeah, you know, there's a few weird, not weird, but angles I'm gonna hit quickly with a preset game. And so this, I think, really we need to get back in order, because you know what made me get back into reading the Bible? I looked around and I could see order. I could see the sun has an order to it. The moon has an order to it. If you watch a time-lapse video of the stars, they have an order to it. Nature, the leaves come off the trees, they go back on the trees. Everything had an order. And I realized, then what's our order? And then when you look everywhere, nothing's really telling me. And then the information I'm getting, I realize their information is deriving from the Bible or the books that the Bible refers you to, like Enoch and Jasher. And I'm like, okay, so I need to get back to my order. I'm just going to read a couple precepts that I see a lot of people usually struggle with, but even then it actually makes sense. It's a caring for each other.
Because you said it a few times. See if you break down what precepts means, just for people who know.
Oh yeah, means scriptures. Yeah, scriptures. Sorry. So yeah, Ephesians 5:23 and 29. For the husband is the head of the wife, even as Christ is the head of the church, and he is saviour of the body. Therefore, as the church is subject unto Christ, so let wives be unto their husbands in everything, and husbands love your wife, even as Christ loved the church, and he gave himself for it. So I'm just saying, all right, there's orders missing when we look around in society. This scripture a lot of people use to try and big themselves up, whereas it's actually, look, be one with each other. When you're married, you're one, love each other, care for each other, and that will permeate onto your children. But I'm seeing there's a separation. So when I go to Corinthians 6 and 17, but he that is joined unto the Lord is one spirit. So we need to be together. Whereas when I'm looking at everything, when you put the Jude 1:19 to it, those who separate themselves being sensual, having not the spirit, and then you get other scriptures talking about how the ungodly act, talking about say Revelations 21 and 8. Let me just get that scripture ready. It's saying, this is in regards to ungodly being fearful, unbelieving, abominable, murderers, whoremongers, sorcerers, idolaters and liars. So we're actually facing a problem of a disconnect, and I realize we need to start addressing this disconnect, or else this issue is going to continue, and it's actually run rampant through across the whole board. And knife crime is definitely one of the issues of a disconnect of there's no order, or not, like if you look around with your eyes, there's not actually a lot of examples to see. Like there's examples you can read, but not a lot of examples you can see of really genuinely caring for each other. It's like even down to food, you actually see more food that's going to destroy you than food that's actually going to heal you.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I know the way the word talks about your food is supposed to be like your medicine.
And what areas are those food places in?
Yes, maybe
exactly that. Because if I'm walking through a rich area of Battersea, I can see loads of organic health food shops, rich areas of Chelsea and so on. I can imagine you also see a lot of healthy food shops. I don't see a chicken shop in Sloane Square. But when I'm walking down certain roads, if you're walking down, say, Rye Lane, New Cross Roads, West Croydon, you were not seeing that. Unless you walk into certain Caribbean food shops or so on, majority of the takeaways you have are actually going to do you more damage than good. And it's crazy.
Do you think that makes someone stressed though, like the food that just
your food will 100% have an effect on you.
It's so hormonal, isn't it, as well?
100%.
That's why I think even certain like cultures that, you know, when you have that halal meat and that kind of thing, the nature in which they kill the animal and all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because don't forget, it wasn't that long ago we're getting horse and told there's beef and everything else in between. Like, I'm hearing there's a certain percentage of chicken nuggets that are newspaper for weight and all mad. It's some madness, like. And it all, in my view, it all comes back to the money situation. The world, it feels like, is focused on the money and that ascension and whatnot, and that is what's put in the face of these kids over and over and over again.
So pretty much the root of it is money, to be fair. Like.
Well, the love of money is the root of all evil.
And we've been taught to love money. Like if you turn on your TV, they're going to show you some product that you need from whatever age. When you're 3 or 4, it's that action man that you want that's in that box or that remote control car. You get a little bit older, you need to get the money to get that PlayStation and whatnot. You get a bit older, you need a phone. What are you doing with that phone, blood? Your phone looks like a, and then next you're gonna have your girlfriend or whatever when you're about 16 and you're trying to make yourself look good. You're trying to kind of do the guy thing and take care of her thing. Get a little bit older than that, now you need a house, you need rent, you need a mortgage, and none of this stuff was biblical.
No.
All of this stuff was a financial system that was created, Adam Smith and whatever else, and supply and demand in between, and capitalism equals good, socialism and communism equals bad, and that's what we're rocking with, and that's it. And then at one point you turn around and be like, this isn't working.
Yeah, it's true. Because when you read the words, I noticed the Israelites, a lot of the time they did live in tents. It's like they was happy with what they had, and more times when they fell was when they got more and more stuff. They got prideful rather than thankful, and then they fell.
Because we've been taught all these things that we need. We've been taught all these things that we need, and once you've been taught and programmed to need something, it's then difficult to disconnect from that.
And it's like when you don't have it, it's like it makes sense. Like when you don't have it, it's like just builds up stress and depression anyway.
If you're 16 and you don't have the latest phone, be it iPhone, Samsung, I don't know if anything else is even acceptable. Like, if you don't have that, then you've been taught there's something wrong with you at this point. It's a reflection of you. If your phone's crappy, that means you're crappy and you're no good. Again, self-esteem, depression, stress.
It's like the material things of this world are controlling the way how people operate, really. So, pretty much, the root of it's the money, like money is the root of all evil.
The love of it,
I mean, and the things that we need. So one of the big things is going to be a house. That transition, especially in London, that kind of goes beyond even our community, but obviously feeling the burn more than most. Like, are you going to be able to afford a house? And you're growing up, you're watching your mum work 2 jobs to rent. You're not seeing her because of that as well, is the irony, while kind of wanting parents to sort out their kids, like you were saying earlier. So mum's gonna work, so you're growing up watching this struggle. You're seeing your mum struggle every night, you're seeing the bags under her eyes and everything else. And at one point you figure out, well, so it's not hard work. It can't be. Hard work isn't going to be what gets us out of this area and having a nice life. Because mom works these 2 shifts every day and we still broke and whatnot. So then you know, and you're seeing all these people that cheat the system and everything else. And I hate that music. Sorry, I hate that music conversation and whatnot. But there has to be some culpability, because at this age, because I feel like hip hop, it's grown up. It's grown up. When I say it's grown up, I mean the people that are in it now and making music, the fathers, the husbands, they have kids. 2 Chainz 40 plus, Lil Wayne sure is around 40 if not 40 plus, Jay-Z 40 plus, Rick Ross 40 plus, Nas 40 plus, kids, wives, all these things are there and evident, and they know better at this stage in life, because we're in the 20s and stuff and we're figuring it out. At this stage in life they do know better, yet at the same time we're almost, well, I know definitely, I'll just put it on me then. I grew up being taught that these rappers kind of finesse the game and whatnot, and they managed to do the drug thing and whatnot, and then they managed to flip that into money and they escaped and cheated the system. And then you get a little bit older and you realize, what's the connection? So you had Dame Dash was doing business deals on the side. It wasn't just a drugs thing. So it's not like, you know, that you see 50 Cent. Oh wait, okay, so you had to be signed to Eminem, you had to be signed to Dre, so then you got a budget from Universal or whatnot if you're Birdman or Lil Wayne. Because at first when I grew up, I was thinking like these rappers were selling drugs, paying for studio time, releasing music, and that was it.
Yeah,
Is what I've been told.
Yes, it's what it's like. Obviously, and then on the other side, it's what the media put out there to make the kids think that that's the
Do you
reality.
think the media?
Truth be told, them rappers can just come out and say, by the way, here's the real truth.
Yeah,
But they don't do it.
And they still talk about the same tunes, like Lil Wayne is still talking, like the Carter 5 came out last week, whatever, he's still talking about, you know, the guns and kidnapping and everything else and whatnot. Whereas if someone kidnapped his daughter, he'd have a problem.
Yeah.
Madness. Absolute madness. Yeah, I think we spin a couple tunes on that one, let that one
Yeah, man.
soak in.